Hey, so what's happening, everybody? Fulton Wooten. Good to see you today, my man.
Dr. Scott, glad to be here. Good to see you as well.
Yeah, I feel so good being here, and I got good news and I got bad news.
Yes.
Which one you want to start with?
Well, we always want to start with the bad news first.
Here's the bad news. COVID is back.
It's rampant.
It's back.
It's huge, man. It's bigger than ever. Or at least they're making us feel that way. But I do believe there's some legitimacy to what they're saying.
Well, the ripple effect, whether it's back or not, is definitely impacting people's lives more now.
More.
You know, I had two kids had to come home from school for a whole week. Shut it down.
No kidding.
Yep. We're talking private schools.
Okay, and that's private. That's not public. Wow.
That's right. That's why we chose that way, so that we could avoid the inconsistency, but it hit anyway. And I'm glad it took this long.
So is that
something that happened, but it's just the way it is.
So you have two kids in school and
three kids in school.
3 kids in school. So all three were affected by this.
2 out of 3.
2 out of 3.
2 out of 3.
Oh, so one's still in school.
Yes, the same school as another. The same school as the other one's in, just a different classroom.
Oh, wow. It's that seems to be, and I think you and I talked about this not too long ago, that the American man on the street who has to get up and go to work and has children, that's such a challenging day-to-day stress. Look at the distress. We know the depression is at its highest level it's ever been in the United States.
Suicide is
yes. You know, the domestic violence, because people are having to spend so much time together at home. Things are, the ropes, the rubber bands are really being tested for their strength right now. So we just need everybody to dig in, take a deep breath, understand that it's not easy, and it's not easy on everyone, and some are having it harder than others. But it's a challenging time for all involved.
Well, you got policymakers.
Yes.
They're not missing a payment.
No.
They're not missing a payment. They're not missing that check. And then we've said it before, we are talking millions and billions of dollars on these in this whole political world. And we're just talking elected officials, hundreds of millions and billionaires. Okay. What we go through every day is it's not even real life to them.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
They don't see it. They're not affected by it.
Yeah.
They don't live in it.
They don't live in it. You know, the kids going to school. You got your everyday working man. You got your small business owners, whether they got one facility, even, up to 5 facilities. That's very successful, strong business.
Yes.
But it's still affected in this way massively. Massively. And we're a polarized country right now more than ever before.
And it's amazing to see the will of the American person right now, because they want to work. They're being told they can't work. Some of these Democratic-run cities and states, California shut down. New York is shut down. Businesses are going out of business every day because of it. But look at the market. We're at an all-time high. This does not correlate. The big corporate companies have the strength to kind of endure, and they'll be able to come back and they'll be able to dictate what they want, because the mom and pops won't be there to compete against them anymore.
That's right.
It's a shame.
Well, and it's not everybody. I mean, half of the country wants that, half the country doesn't want it. We're polarized on every level.
We are.
And until we become integrated, a country that's integrated and coming together, and it could be disastrous. The question is, how long is that going to take?
And how quick we can, how long is this going to last? That is a big, big question.
Is it going to get worse? Where are we at? We're completely divided. And politically, socially,
every
healthcare wise, on every level. We got vaccinations coming out. Half the country wants them.
Yes.
Half the country doesn't.
They just started. They just started this past week, the vaccination process, and they have already come out with reports. Somebody's already attacking this, whether there's any validity to it or not. Just them publishing it is causing the issue, whether it has any truth or not. But they're saying that people who have taken the vaccine, they already have 4 cases of Bell's palsy. Okay. Now,
Bell's palsy. You know what Bell's palsy is?
Let's explain for the people out there.
Here's what Bell's palsy is. Bell's palsy is really, Bell's palsy. It came from somebody maybe named Bells or something. I'm not sure. But what it is when you eat ice cream too fast?
Yes.
Something cold too fast?
Yes.
And it gives you that headache?
Yes.
That's your facial nerve being frozen by the cold, Bell's palsy is damage, irritation on that facial nerve that causes this massive, severe pain. So if you could imagine that cold freeze headache.
Oh, wow.
Times 10 or 100.
Okay.
That's your Bell's palsy.
Wow.
I've seen patients with that before.
Oh,
it's
wow.
very painful. Many people commit suicide. It's so bad. They're not going to live with it.
Wow.
I haven't heard of that side effect.
So it's just come out. Is it true or not? We don't know. But what we're seeing, what has happened with the media, even down to the social media level, that now they're talking about busting up, splitting up Facebook, saying it's just too large. Everybody's opinion.
Who's talking about that?
Well, that
ain't happening.
You don't think so?
That ain't happening.
You don't think so?
No. What's that got to do with vaccines? Or you just skip to the next?
No, I'm just
skip to the next.
Skip to the next.
I don't see anybody breaking up Facebook.
Time will tell. We shall see. I think they're going to attack the Section 230. What allows Facebook to let people say what they want to say and stop some from saying it and allowing others to do it. There's a real problem there, and that's really where I was headed when Facebook came into it. Everybody feels their opinion is newsworthy. Okay, and you've got people out there, as we said, in power and in control, spending hundreds of millions of dollars just to spew their hate upon society. They want the discourse. They want, people not getting along. They want the divide. That's how they're going to get their control and power. The upper elites, the upper Democrats, your media companies, that's what politics is about. Power.
Okay, I understand.
And they've become so heavily involved in
conquer.
Divide and
conquer. They know who's doing this. They know who's doing this, and they have proof. They have proof for it, and they have so much proof for it. It's evidence enough to say, "Hey, we got to break up these strong social media platforms." Am I missing something? Because I don't watch the news like you do. I don't keep up with it.
It's going to be more so over Facebook has become so large, and Facebook has so much power, and Facebook is using they're not using their platform evenly.
Did this go through up in front of the Supreme Court or somebody? I don't know.
I don't know about all that. But
No. What happened is that the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, approved the sale of WhatsApp and also approved the sale of Instagram to Facebook. But now they're coming back saying they're trying to make it a monopoly.
Thank you, Rick.
Of course, they're trying to make it a monopoly. They're trying to acquire two other strong companies and
compete against themselves.
They're already almost a monopoly.
Yes.
And they're trying to acquire the next two in line. Of course they are.
Love to hate.
So what they're doing is they're not trying to split up Facebook. They're trying to stop them from acquiring those companies. Is that what's going on?
It's what Rick just said.
Yeah, they don't. They basically, Facebook is now trying to buy up all these big social media platforms and to become a monopoly to where, think about it. If all of a sudden, all of a sudden you got all these people coming into these apps, and then the next thing look at Facebook right now. Look at the advertising on Facebook.
They're going to do it. So what's stopping them?
The government is going to try to stop them.
It's and it's going, obviously, the conservatives. So the Republicans are the ones who are affected the most. But we know that Facebook played an integral part of allowing what information got out there and what was not allowed on Facebook during the election, because they were made to look really bad during the 2016 election. They showed just how weak they were as far as security and keeping outside countries out and all the influence and the trolls. Facebook is.
What's the difference between Facebook doing that and other media companies, newspapers, television? I mean, why is Facebook getting the heat?
Well, first of all, newspapers, nobody cares about newspapers anymore. Print's over. Now it's
because it's such a big
social media is bigger than anything now.
So it's so impactful.
Yes.
That the spotlight's on them as opposed to these other media companies.
Yep.
Okay.
It's their turn.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you, nothing's happening. They're only going to continue to get bigger and stronger. What's next? Skip to the next, Fulton.
And there's a lot of that. All right, what you want to?
Because that ain't happening.
Yeah, I tell you what.
They're not taking Facebook down.
It's your Christmas party. What music you want to play?
We are going to the Christmas party.
Yes.
Oh, only the coolest people will be there. Jensen will be there.
Yes.
Rick Roberts will be there.
Maybe.
Maybe. Oh, he's playing hard to
get. Yeah.
That's okay.
He is.
Come fast and be late.
He
Rick
talks
Roberts.
a big game here in the sound room, but once we get outside, we'll see.
You know what's going to be awesome about that Christmas party?
Yes, tell me.
Is the smartest people in our community will be there. You know, we got an AMS team. That's not a joke, Fulton.
No, it's sure well put together.
What you laughing at?
What am I laughing at? I'm not laughing.
The smartest people in the world are going to be at that Christmas party.
I'm thinking about all the patients who just put a smile on their face because they know you paid them a very large compliment. Okay? They are the smart ones who came to Advanced Medical to seek out the treatment.
You know what?
That's where
we do dinner parties all year. We hadn't had as many this year, obviously, because of the COVID-19 pandemic. But we've had a few, and we've done them smart, and we're going to do this one smart too. And the smartest people are going to be there, and we're going to be celebrating the amazing team that we have at Advanced Medical. We're celebrating our great patients and the successes that they've had. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be
all
a great
the
time.
results, and those people are going to be there, and they're going to be happy to be there. They're going to have smiles on their face. I expect it to be one of the most positive Christmas events I attend because of these people being able to get up, get around.
I agree.
You know, there's no doubt. So it'll be a good time had by all.
So, Rick, you coming to the Christmas party? Or you're going to be doing crossword puzzles still?
All right, I'm going to try. Okay.
All right.
Got to remember, I got the girlfriend, I got the daughter. You know how that is. You got kids.
So here's the thing. All right,
yes.
Fulton, back to what we were talking about.
Yes.
We're talking about a national vaccine. Okay. Normally it takes years, if not a decade, to get a vaccine approved. It's happened within a year.
Yes.
I mean, okay, we have a lot of advances in medicine, but that is a huge area where the whole country has been divided, and now even more than ever about this quick vaccination that's coming to market. What do you think?
Well, you and I have worked in this space for a long time with this new and developing products. We've seen what takes place. We understand how the FDA works and the steps that have to be taken to get there. Now, you and I are also very familiar with the RMAT. Okay. And that's the fast track. You know, that is what allows a product where there is not a treatment in place and there is a disease and you have a promising medicine for that disease, then you get fast tracked. Okay. You get to pass go, collect the money, and keep rolling wide open until you have issues in your studies. So they fast track the studies. They still do, you know, the number, I think it was 40 or 50,000 that they did with that first round of clinical trials on this vaccine that's coming out now. But
95% effective is what they say.
That's what they're saying. So we will see. And the other side, the bad part of it is you really don't know what those long-term side effects are until 20 years later. It takes a while for those to come out.
You taking the vaccine?
Heck yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Quick. And you know me, you know my situation. I've had a couple of bad tick bites. I'm already immunocompromised.
Right.
That's why we do the stem cell stuff, and that's why we do what we do to make our body better, to make us live longer. But
I'm glad you feel confident about it. I'm glad you feel confident.
Okay, I've got a question for you, Fulton.
Okay.
Now, I've heard all kind of crazy things.
Not about me.
Do you think in that vaccine there's a chip?
Not yet.
Damn, Rick Roberts. You went off the deep end there. Oh, all right, real quick.
It is crazy.
Hey, I like the spectrum here, okay? I like the spectrum. Fulton, I'm glad you're confident in it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not. But I'm glad you are. And I don't think I'll be taking that vaccine. Now, Rick Roberts, there's parts of me on the inside that also think about these conspiracy theories and these wild thoughts.
I've heard crazy things.
But a chip inside of a vaccine, I mean, that's out there.
All right, hold on.
Is it possible?
Let's discuss.
Definitely
we had
possible.
Dean Banks on the show several months back, and what did he say his next project is? Was
Chipping medication.
Chipping medication.
That's right.
You know, absolutely.
So is it possible? Yeah, it's possible.
It is
Rick
possible.
Roberts, do you think there's a chip in all those vaccines?
I don't know if they're in all of them, but do I think that they can do it? Yes, I do.
Well, I got a few problems with vaccines. Okay, I love the idea.
Yep.
Activate the immunity, let the body create this response, this immune response.
Okay.
But there are a few things going on there. Okay. Number one, normally it's a virus. Normal virus.
Yes.
They're not injecting this vaccination is not made with its own virus.
No.
Kind of like the flu, right? The flu shot's they put a dead flu in you, right?
That's right. And that's not happening. They're doing something with mRNA.
Correct.
mRNA. And if I've been studying, getting involved with CRISPR and genetics.
Yes.
And when you're talking about mRNA, you're altering genetics. You're doing something. That's why they have to have this at sub-zero temperature.
Correct.
So now if you start talking about chips and conspiracies, now my mind starts thinking on a conspiracy level. And this is not how I feel, but this is how I start thinking in my wild imagination. But you think back, vaccinations became very strong, at least 50, if not 70 years ago. And now we're looking at what we call the diseases of the 20th century or 21st century, which are autoimmune and inflammatory related diseases, which are directly related to some of the conditions. And it looks like that the whole culture based
the environment,
really the medical culture of what we've done, as far as what we've done to our bodies, as far as nutritionally, the food that we eat, the preservatives in foods, the vaccinations that create these high anti-inflammatory or these high inflammatory responses in the body. That's one thing. When you put a vaccination in the body, you're bypassing the entire natural immunity and you're creating this allergic, hyperreactive response in the body. And it has long-term effects. And I truly believe part of the reason why we have these diseases of the 21st century of degenerative and inflammatory and autoimmune conditions is because we've done a lot of things to the body, bypassing natural immunity and creating this allergic, hyperactive, sensitive response.
Mm-hmm.
And we're working with people now with these conditions trying to fix these problems.
See them all day long.
I'm afraid, and even on a wild imagination, that, hey, we start doing these vaccines that are affecting the genetics of our body. We're just really creating new problems and genetic problems that eventually we're creating this new genetic medicine that now we're creating a problem that we have to cure now with another medical.
Again, the
Band-Aid or drug, or you see what I'm saying? Create the problem so that we can fix the problem later.
So yes, and you're also saying the cure cannot be larger than the disease. If we're creating a bigger problem to just push it down the road, but you don't know. You don't
like you
know.
said, you don't know. For another 10, 20, if not 50 years, you don't know.
What about the young people? What about the teenagers who get vaccinated now? I mean, that is one of the bad things about the vaccines. And here's something else I learned. So we know that when they do the flu vaccine, that so often they miss the point. Okay, they don't pick the right strand. They don't, and it basically misses, and they probably get it wrong 40% of the time.
Well, they say you got a 50-50. Yeah, you got a 50-50.
50-50.
And everybody's different. There's some people it helps, some people it doesn't.
That's true.
Yeah.
So when they started with the vaccines and then people started having reactions and the insurance companies were held responsible for it, the insurance companies quickly stepped up and said, well, wait a minute. We don't make enough money doing this to warrant the risk of having to cover these expenses. We were doing this because the government asked us to put these vaccines in place, and now we're going to be responsible for it. So everybody started moving away from the vaccines in the pharmaceutical world. And you and I talk about big pharma all the time. So because the profit was not there for them in the vaccines, the vaccine makers became harder to locate. So what the government literally did was gave the pharmaceutical companies leniency. They were not responsible for any of these reactions, amnesty to these patients for taking these vaccines. And they're looking at it in a bell curve. So we know that on both sides of that bell peak that there's going to be circumstances, but the government looks at it in an overall picture. They're looking at everybody associated, and they feel that if they can, protect 94%, if this is 94% effective and theoretically everybody were to take it, and we've, advanced 94% of our population down the road who's going to recover from this, that's how they're looking at it. Do they want to lose that 6%? They don't, but they would rather lose that 6% than lose, 33%, because the Spanish flu of 2019, people continue to forget. Worldwide, 500 million people died. That was 1/3 of the world's population. Okay. So that hasn't been used as a fear tactic as well as it could have been done. So they didn't have the treatment back then, and you didn't have the awareness like we have with social media and the radio and TV and everything else. So we are aware now. They weren't aware. They just walked into it blindly, and it struck them dead.
Yeah.
So
I think ultimately, I think everything's going to be great. I think most of us are going to be smart enough to say, hey, let's take care of our immune system. Let's do things to be proper. I think, half the people are going to take the vaccine, half the people are not. Half the people that don't, they may or may not suffer. Half the people that do take it, half of those may or may not, or a small portion. Overall, I think the majority of the population is going to be great, and we're going to move forward. I think actually introducing this vaccine is going to create a little bit of a better mental comfort and mental health for the whole population as a whole.
Yes.
Whether someone chooses to do it or not. I think it's a choice that people should be able to make, just like anything else. It's our body. We should be able to choose. We definitely shouldn't be forced to take it. I don't think that at all whatsoever.
No, I agree.
But I think introducing it and bringing it about, I think it's gonna help progress things and move things forward. But I'm going to choose to stay away from it unless it's an emergency situation for myself and my family.
Biden has said that he will not make it mandatory. The vaccine. He won't make it mandatory. So, I don't know how you could.
But if you don't have a chip, if you don't have a chip, Rick Roberts.
Well, no, the weird part is...
Okay, you don't have to get the vaccine, but if you don't have a chip, you don't get to go record with Rick Roberts.
Well, this is the weird thing. By what you're just saying right now, there's a thing that's being passed around now that if you don't get the vaccine and show that you've gotten the vaccine, you won't get to go into any concerts or anything like that where there's large crowds.
You got to have your COVID pass.
A vaccine ID.
Yeah.
Have your COVID pass.
So, control and power once again. They just continue to look for ways to slow down who they want to put brakes on and speed up.
Would you say a mandatory vaccination and having that COVID pass is more of a left wing or right wing initiative?
Oh, that's far left.
Okay. Now, would you say abortion, pro-choice is more left or right wing?
You know what? I think both sides feel very strongly about their views. But if we had to pick, well, it would have to be the left side because they are the one who are trying to change nature.
So you got some of the same people say you should be able to do whatever you want to with your body if you're pregnant, and then you got the same people saying, no, you shouldn't be able to do what you want to do with your body. You have to get the vaccination. Doesn't that seem a little contradictory?
How about that?
Yeah, it's a little...
Doesn't everything they say seem contradicting?
I don't keep up with it that much.
So, of course.
You mean by the left?
The far left. So, it only... You only hear about it when it fits their agenda. Okay? If it doesn't fit their agenda, it's not going to be talked about.
But that's politics.
That is politics. Where's all this?
So is that wrong?
Well, it's not fair and balanced. Okay, it's not doing what news is supposed to do, and that's report the story. But we're talking
about the politicians and the laws now, though, not the stories.
Okay, well, let's move it over to the politicians. Is that wrong?
The game. That's the political game.
If that's who they are,
agenda passed,
and that's what they believe, and that's what they are willing to fight for, then you know what? That's who they are, and the world is full of those people, full of them, everybody.
Well, the problem is it's not fair and balanced, and if we can keep it fair and balanced, I mean that's the name of the game. Fair and balanced is your Fox News. Isn't that the Fox News slogan?
Yes.
Yes. It was.
Yes, meaning it used to be.
It has been from time to time.
Are any of them really fair and balanced?
Man, I used to feel that Fox was as fair and balanced as it could be, but during this last election, they just had some people that didn't support him, and they just had a mixed bag. So it's quite entertaining. We never know what we are faced with day to day on life, just as now. So we keep moving forward. We're back at it, Dr. Scott.
You got to move forward. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
You got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of yourself. You got to move forward. Remembering this whole political scheme. We are the little peeps.
We are.
We are the little peeps.
You ready?
And all we can do is take care of ourselves.
And
don't count on anybody. Especially your government.
This is your theory. Company. This is your slogan. There's no such thing as cruise control in life. You're either speeding up or slowing down. Never forget it.
Don't forget. Yeah.
Don't forget it. Okay.
There is no cruise.
If you take your foot off the gas, you are slowing down. So. Yeah. When I say that because we're going into the worst part of the season. Winter's just, a week and a half away. And as we approach winter, we're dealing with the coronavirus. People are going to be more sedative. They're not going to be out. They're going to be, they're restricted. They're not going to be eating as healthy as they could be. They're not going to be as active. We're going
to be having some drinks at the Christmas party.
Absolutely.
We're doing things unhealthy more than ever.
We will anesthetize it.
But that's why we have to. You're right. We got to take control of it.
Yes,
we got to take control. Hey, I know you're going to be doing some bad things, starting at the Christmas party, but we got to do things to balance that out. Like you said, fair and balanced. You got to balance it in your own life. Because nobody else is going to balance it out for you.
No.
Can't wait on anything else.
No.
You got to do it.
Start now. Don't wait till New Year's Day. Don't make a New Year's resolution and be on the countdown.
No,
so that you can cheat.
Then. We could die.
Yeah, it starts now.
I'm going to run about 3 to 4 miles today and the next day so that I can have a great time at the party.
There you go.
With you.
Good for you.
And you.
Yes.
And you.
We're ready.
So we got to balance it out.
Yes.
Don't wait till the new year. Take your vitamins. Take your vitamin D. It's not a vitamin, it's a hormone. You got to have it. Get your vitamin infusions.
Yes.
You got your vitamin infusion lately?
No, I'm due. It's time.
You're up. You got to go.
Got to go.
You got to make it happen.
Yes, it is.
What else? You got to be active, exercising. You exercising?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I stay very active.
Let's see what else. Exercising, staying active, moving, going to the gym, whatever you need to do, doing some yoga, eating healthier. You can't keep eating all the snacks and the treats that the patients bring us in the back room every day. Taste it and move on. Don't go back for seconds, thirds, and fourths. These delicious lemon cakes at Sour and Peanut.
Ooh.
Shout out to Sour and Peanut. These lemon cookies with icing dripped all over the top of it.
Oh,
you gotta balance it out.
Yes,
you gotta eat healthy.
And this is the time of the year where it's the most difficult.
Vitamins.
This is it.
Get in the fresh air.
The most difficult time of the year between Thanksgiving and Christmas on the diet. You know, but go into it knowing to enjoy it. Keep it minimal so you're not overeating in the first of the new year. You kick in the new diet and the exercise plan and come see us at Advanced Medical.
Hey, let's make it happen.
Good deal.
Hey, good talking to everybody. We'll see you next week.
Peace out.